with a boost in WWE morale and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Revealing never-before-seen photos of the late Bray Wyatt from Extreme Rules 2022, Jason Baker posted this to X. 1 year ago, I turned 40, said goodbye to my grandma, stayed up for 48 hours creating puppet suits, got to do my best Fiend impression, and witnessed Bray Wyatt take his rightful place back where he belonged. Such an amazing day. With him making his WWE comeback at Fastlane to help out the LWO, Carlito said this on X, "It's good to be back home." As a young fan impersonated Kenny Omega's signature gesture and line, the man himself was able to see it on X. Here's the clip.
Hey Mom.
What, Joey?
I'm gonna give you a do, okay?
Okay.
Goodbye, mwah, and good night, bang.
Omega wrote in response, "Incredible delivery. I'm not just proud, I'm jealous. A+." With NXT and AEW Dynamite set to go head-to-head tomorrow night, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful noted, with both companies looking to load up both shows and NXT going commercial-free, we've also confirmed that AEW has secured a 10-minute overrun for AEW Dynamite. Recalling her time on the WWE main roster prior to her going back to NXT, Mandy Rose said on her Power Alphas podcast, "I wasn't very happy with what I was doing at that moment, so in my head, I looked at it as a positive reinforcement of like, this could be something really big and really new and innovative for me. I didn't look at it of anything else." For a status update on Jade Cargill this week on WWE programming, it was said that Ringside News has been able to confirm that Jade Cargill is scheduled to be at Raw and Smackdown this week. That being said, whether she will appear on screen is another question. She is scheduled to be at both shows, so fans will have to tune in to see what happens. Giving an update on a potential name for a new NXT star, PW Insider said WWE trademarked a ring name for Alexis King. We have heard around the WWE Performance Center that this name was earmarked for Brian Pillman Jr. Ringside News added, "This new name would make a bit of sense. It was noted that Lexis would be short for Alexis, Brian Pillman's half-sister who tragically passed away in a car accident. Also, King is the last name of Brian Pillman Jr.'s mother, Melanie. It seems to add up, so we will have to see what happens." Noting how her vehicle was broken into, AEW backstage correspondent Renee Paquette wrote on X, "Shout out to the person that broke into my car but didn't take any of my stuff. Respectful criminal." Touching on the possibility of CM Punk returning to WWE, Eric Bischoff said on his 83 Weeks podcast, "WWE doesn't need CM Punk. They are doing very well without him. Chicago at Survivor Series is going to pop either way. No added value. None." Mentioning the reactions from those in WWE to the segment between Rhea Ripley and Paul Heyman on Smackdown, Ringside News wrote, "That segment between Rhea Ripley and Paul Heyman struck a chord with fans in a big way. The segment went viral, and many were talking about it. As it turns out, the buzz around that segment was also thick within the WWE writers' room." Ringside News was told by a tenured member of the creative team that there was so much buzz this weekend over the Rhea Ripley promo backstage with Paul Heyman. It was also noted to us that many have been talking about how Heyman is such a star maker. When it comes to the next challenger for the World Heavyweight Champ Seth Rollins, Ringside News wrote that BWE posted behind their Private X account to answer a fan's question about plans for Seth Rollins. Of course, this fan wanted to know who is next in line to challenge Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. The bonafide WWE insider reported back that Drew McIntyre is set to take on Seth Rollins next. That could be interesting as they make their way toward Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia on November 4th. We'll have to see when Drew McIntyre gets his shot at Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship. The former WWE Champion is set to get a new focus, as we previously reported that Drew 2.0 will make his debut this week on Raw. Speaking of Seth Rollins, he had his last man standing match against Shinsuke Nakamura over the weekend at Fastlane, where a fan captured footage of him falling on a crash pad. Explaining the reported boost in morale for those backstage in WWE, Sean Ross Sapp, a Fightful, said, "I think you can take a look at the show. Johnny Gargano is back after his return was nixed. Tegan Knox is on the show. Dragon Lee is all over the program. Carlito is finally factored in after being under contract for months. Cameron Grimes got back on TV. Bronson Reed is winning matches. Tag team titles and IC titles are getting long matches to in Raw." I'm not going to say that all of those are direct results of the situation, but all of those parts moving at the same time is a little too much to be a coincidence for me. Ringside News added, one WWE talent reportedly said that their feeling is that most people on the roster felt a sense of relief when McMahon retired from both a moral and creative standpoint. They said that answering for Vince McMahon's behavior isn't what most of them signed up for, and beyond that, there wasn't a lot of creative confidence in him. Staying on this topic of morale in WWE, Ringside News noted that WWE's creative process is notorious for late changes, especially when Vince McMahon is around. It appears that is not the case anymore. PW insiders reported a noticeable improvement in WWE's morale, linked to the perception that Triple H is now taking a more prominent role in creative direction rather than Vince McMahon. It was previously reported that the prevailing belief among WWE employees is that there has been a considerable boost in optimism in recent weeks compared to the previous 8 months. At the beginning of 2022, locker room morale had reached an all-time low due to McMahon's limited creative involvement. However, it saw a significant improvement in the latter part of the year under Triple H's influence. Although talent hasn't been explicitly informed that Vince McMahon is no longer involved, and most were never directly informed of his creative changes upon his return, they were all aware of it. In December, Vince McMahon had privately expressed his intention to regain control of the company for a potential sale. However, by February, Vince McMahon's creative influence was once again being strongly felt. Sean Sapp went on to note behind Fightful's paywall that a lot of those late changes to WWE programming have stopped since the big rumors of Triple H receiving full backing by Endeavor really picked up. We're told that over the last few weeks, even many of those late changes have stopped, outside of ones that happened due to issues with medical clearances. Even then, word that we've received was that Vince McMahon changes existed before then, but were fairly minimal, especially as compared to how things used to be. We will have to see how WWE's creative direction goes from this point on. Vince McMahon did a lot to get the company where it is today, but it may be that Triple H has full control of the ship now. Going over two NXT stars that are set to be leaving WWE, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful said, though it was recently reported that the former Dyad were already free agents, they aren't technically free and clear just quite yet. Though they did appear to finish up with WWE, sources in the company said that the team's contracts actually still expire in mid-October. The duo are expected to officially leave the company at that point. It was added that, as PWInsider.com reported on September 16th, the Dyad, aka the Grizzled Young Vets, are expected to leave WWE this coming weekend. The team are under contract through October 14th. We have heard there are multiple companies interested, both here in the United States and Europe, when they are free and clear. The belief among those we've spoken with is that the team will remain based out of the United States going forward. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.